Crankshaft position sensor. Purpose. The purpose of a crankshaft position sensor is to monitor the position or rotational speed of the crankshaft. The sensor then relays this information to the engine management system, which accordingly alters the fuel injection, ignition timing, and other engine parameters. How it works. The crankshaft position sensor, it is positioned so that teeth on the reluctor ring attached to the crankshaft pass close to the sensor tip. The reluctor ring has one or more teeth missing to provide the engine computer PCM with the reference point to the crankshaft position. As the crankshaft rotates, the sensor produces a pulsed voltage signal, where each pulse corresponds to the tooth on the reluctor ring. The resistance of the crankshaft position sensor should be between 200 to 1000 ohms. It means that the sensor is OK. For the Hall type sensors, the reference voltage is typically plus 5 volt. Location. The crankshaft sensor is usually located near the bottom of the block toward the front of the engine. In most cases, you'll find it behind the harmonic balancer. In some vehicles, you might find the crankshaft sensor behind the timing cover, near the bottom of the block, though this is rare. As long as the sensor is on the outside of the block, it is relatively easy to replace. What causes crankshaft sensor to go bad? There are two common causes. 1. Overheating engine. Excessive heat built up in the engine can cause damage to the crankshaft sensor by melting the plastic cover. 2. Circuitry problems. A problem with the crankshaft sensor can be caused by faulty voltage, loose, worn out or damaged wiring. 9 symptoms of a bad crankshaft position sensor. 1. Check engine light. The check engine light is the first sign of a faulty crankshaft position sensor. The powertrain control module PCM continuously communicates with the crankshaft position sensor to control different features of the engine. When the sensor goes bad, it sends inaccurate data about the crankshaft's speed and position to the PCM. When the PCM receives wrong information from the crankshaft position sensor, it triggers the check engine warning light on the dashboard. 2. Excessive engine vibration. An engine with a malfunctioning crankshaft position sensor doesn't operate at peak performance. The powertrain control module PCM of the vehicle uses the data of the crank sensor to regulate the ignition timing and many other features. If your PCM uses incorrect readings from the crankshaft sensor to determine fuel and ignition timing, it may lead to a bumpy driving experience. If the PCM fails to time these processes correctly for a long time, the issue will only worsen until it is resolved, potentially causing further damage. 3. Hard starting. When a faulty crankshaft position sensor is severely out of sync, you may struggle to start your car or keep it running. This issue typically arises when the problem has persisted for a long time, potentially indicating other underlying issues. But if your check engine light is on and the PCM has defaulted to predetermined values, this might not be an immediate concern. Instead, this issue usually arises when the crankshaft position sensor provides inaccurate readings and the PCM fails to detect it. 4. Poor engine performance is one of the clear symptoms of a faulty crankshaft position sensor. When this sensor goes bad, it significantly impacts the PCM's ability to maintain proper fuel injection rate and ignition timing. As a result, you may experience a hesitation when pressing the gas pedal harder, or the engine might not respond at all. This may be particularly hazardous on roads where quick acceleration is necessary. 5. Engine misfire. A faulty crankshaft position sensor may also cause misfiring. This issue occurs when a faulty crankshaft sensor sends wrong information about the piston position to the PCM, which in turn leads to misfire with one or more of the combustion chambers. But your car also may misfire due to many other issues. However, a bad spark plug can also cause this issue. Therefore, it is important not to dismiss the possibility of a faulty crankshaft position sensor if you are experiencing other related symptoms. 6. Poor fuel economy. When the crankshaft sensor becomes faulty, it starts sending wrong information to PCM. When the PCM powertrain control module receives wrong information, it may be unable to efficiently regulate the fuel injection rate, resulting in a lean or rich air-fuel mixture. The poor air-fuel mixture leads to poor combustion, and your engine works hard to properly combust the mixture. As a result, your engine starts to consume more fuel than normal. 7. Engine stalling. Frequent engine stalling can occur when driving with a bad crankshaft position sensor. If this issue is left unaddressed, your engine may eventually stop functioning altogether. Your vehicle engine may stall due to many other reasons, such as a faulty fuel injector or a faulty camshaft sensor. Therefore, when your engine stalls, properly inspect all the parts to find the root cause of the engine. 8. Rough idle. Poor idle means your engine computer is not receiving a constant flow of data from the bad crankshaft position sensor, which forces it to fire the fuel injectors on improper parameters. The ignition timing needs to quickly adjust as the vehicle is brought to a stop, but due to the bad crankshaft position sensor, the engine continues to run on incorrect timing. Rough idle can be due to a number of reasons, and pinpointing the exact cause can be quite hard. So, if you notice vibration at idle, it is highly recommended to get your crankshaft position sensor checked. 9. Tachometer doesn't work. Since the tachometer or RPM gauge gets its reading from the crankshaft position sensor, on most cars this could be one of the causes to suspect. Keep in mind that there are lots of wires between the sensor, the engine computer that interprets crankshaft position sensor signal and sends calculated RPMs to the gauge cluster. The sensor itself may be fine, but if wiring is damaged, it will easily indicate a bad sensor.